And welcome to Poppy's Workshop. This is just a short video. I'm going to do a quick cut as I'm testing audio with my vacuum. I want to see how things work with the air handling system on. And right here is a blast gate that throttles my lower vacuum. And at the same time, oh, there it is, son of a gun. In my pipe. Oh my gosh, I got the clear tubes here, and what I see over way back here is a little piece. I can't reach it from here. I built a dump truck, and one of the things on the dump truck where the wheel is I had to build a shim. So imagine a square shim with the hole drilled through. This way the tires will be out a little bit wider. The idea is that the wheel, and then you had the dumper that would tilt, okay? So if I didn't have the shim, of course it would hit. And by moving it out, I did that. So what I did, this is at a eighth inch, a little bit thicker than an eighth of an inch. So I did a stack cut, and cut it through. I've got the vac on, and the top piece got sucked up, and it was right there, and it's resting there. And just as I'm trying to grab it, dummy me, I should have just turned off the vacuum or hit the blast gate. But just as I grabbed it, went and got sucked up, and it's like I couldn't find it. I went into the cyclone bucket, and I couldn't find it in there. Hitting the different tubes, thinking, maybe it's in there somewhere, because I do have an issue here I've got to adjust. There's a lot of stuff is getting collected right here. I've got to get a little bit better vac, so I think I've got a couple of air leaks somewhere. But just as I started setting up, I'm looking over here, and son of a gun, there it is, because what I wound up doing was cutting out another one. No big deal, but it was just, oh, I can't believe that happened. So right now I've got this this elephant. Let me get him up here that I am going to cut out. And I think, let's see, this is kind of big. So I'm going to cut the outside out first, and then I will do the inside heart cut. Make sure I'm going to clear that. Yep. This way, I don't have this, I'm already going to handle the big piece of wood once. I don't want to handle the big piece of wood twice. So that's what we'll do. But then this extra wood here, I think I'm going to make another dump truck. But rather than do the inside the same color, this is curly maple, I'm going to find a contrasting for the inside. So kind of like a racing stripe that I do on the cars. I don't have one. Well, yeah, I do. Let's see. So if you look how I use multi-species wood, that's what I do. So we'll do that. So I'm going to actually keep the audio on. Well, actually, when I go into post-processing, if it's too loud, I will definitely lower it. But in this case, I think I am not going to, because I want to know what's going on, especially when I'm doing my live feeds. We'll see how loud it is. Right now, I do cut off the mic pack so people don't have to listen to it. So let me zoom you in a little bit more. And there we go. And I have my earbuds in, which are noise canceling. So I'm going to go world off, and I do have to get my vacuum started. So world off. And I will see, while I'm doing this, if I can talk. Excuse me. All right, so let's get started here. You'll see me make a few adjustments as I get started. Make the first turn into the cut. I'm using a Pegasus, I believe modified geometry, number 10. Because these are fairly looping turns, nothing really sharp. If I had sharp turns, gotta pay attention here. I do some nibble cuts if I have to. But I think when I do the dump truck on this curly looper, I'm going to try the number 7 Flying Dutchman Ultra Reverse. I really like the Ultra Reverses, especially when I'm doing puzzles. And I prefer to have the vacuum on when I'm working, so I'm not inhaling all this dust, even though I do have masks. But if I'm recording, and people will be able to hear me, you double check, make sure you can see me well. Yeah, my hand's not too far in the way. I'm going to adjust the camera again, get a little bit higher angle. I came out a little bit knowing that I'd be walking around a little bit in my live. So here's a little bit sharper turn. So I slow down, I let the blade do the work. You can hear it chatter, as it does not want to make that turn. So I'll come back a little bit, nibble out a little, not make that turn. Now, I could force it a little bit harder if I wanted to, but that's how you break blades. And in the last year, I've only broken one blade just because of a stupid mistake I made. And I nibbled out for a turn. I got everything lined up, but I couldn't make the nibble quite big enough, and it was a pretty thick stack cut with a very hard wood. So needless to say, blade wasn't a happy camper. So, for this turn. So what I'm actually doing is, I'm going to exaggerate, is I pull back just a little bit to lighten the touch of the blade, rather than, let me back up again, exaggerate, rather than continuing the same pressure. And again, it's so light, I let the blade do the work. As I lighten up, I pull back just a little bit to give room for the blade to do its own nibble. Especially this being as thick as it is. And now that I feel less pressure, I can speed up my turn, stay on the line. And you'll notice that I stop once in a while. What I'm doing is I'm gauging the angle of the blade, if I've twisted it any, if it's tracking wrong. Catching on anything. Nice big loop in turn. You know what's funny? I find making turns like this a lot easier than straights. When we get to the Noah's Ark that I'm finishing up, I'm studying Lua. I did everything on the scroll saw, even all those long, straight lines. Just one watching what the blade's doing. I'll slow down. And one of the things that I do, let me get my pointer here, is I look right here. And the wood and the paper bubble just slightly. And that tells me how the cut's going and which way it's going. Let me back it up just a little bit here. And I watch that little bubble. And it's ever so slight, but it tells me so much what the blade is doing. And also how the dust is coming off. The other reason why I stop is after a while, sometimes you're pushing too hard. So when you let go, you can see let the blade go back to its neutral position. Now, if you take a look as I make this turn, and you look at the whale's mouth, you'll see that the original design called for a deeper cut. Now, that made me a little bit nervous for the little kids. Kind of give me a sharp area because I won't be able to get in and smooth it as well as I like. So you can see my pencil goes in just a little bit and then loops out. So now I'm going to go with my pencil. And I'll decide after I finish whether I want to cut this or do nothing. Let me get my hands resituated here. You'll notice also how I started and finished my cuts. I'll use the edges of the boards to my advantage since they're already squared up and smooth. Because if you look here, the wheels will hide. And one stretch. Boom. Get that out of the way. I need more. I need a bigger table. So there you go. Let me get the wheel that I'm going to use for this little fella. And zoom back out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let me turn off the vacuum. So this is the wheel that I'm going to use. I'm not sure. I may actually go larger. I do have larger wheels, but they may be too large, and I don't have any handy here. So this is what I'm going to do for now. It has good clearance. I think if I do put a bigger wheel, they may get too close. It just, balance-wise, it won't look right. So I think that's that there. Let me do an inside cut. Not many people have seen an inside cut, or pierce cutting as I prefer to call it. So while I was doing this, I drilled out another hole for the heart cutout. And here's what that looks like. I may have to do something with the mouth. So that's what it's going to look like right now. And I think the mouth really does add personality. So I guess I'm going to cut it with the smile and see how I can smooth that. I'll use the rotary tool. But anyway, well, let's do a quick pierce cut here. Thread it through, make sure that gives me some clearance. We're going to get the vacuum on. Let's check the sound level here. Okay, and then I'm going to check the ambient. Vacuum on. Yeah, that's pretty loud, I think. I have to zoom you in. Yeah, these X blades are very aggressive, especially with these harder woods, which is nice. So here, I'm going to do just a little nibble to give me some room for the turn, yet maintain that nice bottom of the heart. Don't be afraid to go into the waste wood if you have to. The way that I do some of my 90 degrees. I'll zoom out. There we go. Okay, let's get that vacuum off. Being that it's so cold outside, usually I roll my vacuum outside and kind of around the corner. So there you go. That's with the heart. This I did with the Forstner bit. And let me look inside. Yeah. So what I do when I do larger than ½ inch hole is I will drill a pilot and then use a Forstner bit, and I don't have one with an easy grab. Or do I? Wait a second. I think I have a big one that I use for my big clocks. Yeah. So basically a Forstner is a flat cutting bit. So let me show you that. So I will drill a pilot hole so that it will go in there. And of course that's too big. And I will set my depth to, let me see how I can do this, to just a little bit more than half, just like that. And I'll go halfway through, then of course flip the piece over, then line up with that pilot hole, and then go the rest of the way through. On my Noah's Ark, when I first started it, I did not do that, and I noticed a little bit of tear out on the opposite side. So there's a little heart there. So when I went through from there, the backside would tear out a little bit. So here I have it again nice and smooth. So there is just a little bit of a rough edge inside, but I'm going to take my barrel sander and sand that all smooth and then profile everything, and we'll be right as rain. So let's do these final cuts. I'm not going to bother with the vacuum since it's a short, 2 quick cuts. So you see the buildup there of dust. So without the top vac, you can see quite a difference. Let me zoom in for you a little bit more. And hopefully you'll see that dust pile. Blocks the line, can't see a blessed thing. So, there we go, now the line's clean. Now most people, this is how they run things. They have their puffer, as I call it, the black one. And if they do have a vacuum, they only have the bottom vac going. But I find that is not enough. Dust is just blown all around the shop. And I don't like it. I prefer not to wear a mask if I don't have to, thus the advanced air handling at the top. There we go. Let's zoom out and see what we got. Let's look from behind. So yeah, that adds just a little bit more personality to it. It's amazing how such a small little detail like that can make a big change. You know, when you look at the pattern itself, you know, the lines, the white and things like that, it's like, you really can't always get the full view of what things look like. So where I'm at on this, I have a number of other pieces that are ready for profiling and for, let me get my world on. Now I can hear myself speak. I was probably talking too loud. So what I'll do is take the pattern off. I'll sand this with the orbital. Then I will take it to the to my little barrel sander, rotary tool, and I'll profile the edges so that they're nice and smooth. Then go to the mop sander, break the edges a little bit more, and that's it. Glue up the wheels, and we will be done with this and with this. So that's it. I think we got everything that I'm going to do for this particular video. I mean, we're 23 minutes in already, so that's it. With that, may the Lord richly bless you. Make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop.